Good morning, students. So we will continue the chapter from the beginnings of time, and the topic here is the story of human evolution. So you can look at the image. So these are the four skulls. The image A, or the first skull, it's belonged to an ape. Skull P, it belonged to species known as Australopithecus. Okay, Australopithecus, and below that belong to a species known as Homo erectus, literally upright man. Then belong to a species known as Homo sapiens, literally thinking wise man, to which all the present day human beings belong. So list as many similarities and differences. So we will work on the similarity and differences of these four species that you notice looking carefully at the brain case, jaws, and you can see the teeth. The differences that you notice in the skull shown in the illustration are some of the changes that came about as a result of human evolution. By examining these skulls, we can explore characteristics which explore their evolutionary relationships. Homo species, they are characterized by relatively and absolutely large brain. As you can see brain here, large brain, a modern skeleton, reduced the tooth and jaw size, and an involvement in cultural activities. Students, evolution does not happen all at once, especially in complex organisms such as human beings. Modern humans, humans are the product of evolutionary processes that go back more than 3.5 billion years ago to the beginning of the life on Earth. So we became human gradually, evolving new physical traits and behavior on top of those inherited from earlier primates, mammals, vertebrates, and the very oldest living organisms. So here you can see primates, okay. So between 36 million years ago and 24 million years ago, primate, a category of mammals, they emerged in Asia and Africa. And then you will see between 24 million years ago and 5.6 million years ago, there emerged a subgroup that we call hominoids. And here you will see that between 5.6 million years ago to 1.8 million years ago, hominids, they have evolved from hominoids and share certain common features and have major differences as well. So these hominids, they are further subdivided into two branches. One is the Australopithecus and another one is the Homo, from where the modern human it evolves. Hominids and hominids are a member of the superfamily Hominidae of a primate. The hominids are any primates that belongs to a family that are commonly known as great apes. The scientific term that is used for hominids are hominidae. So this is the family under which humans are more specifically classified along with orangutans, gorillas and chimpanzees. So the hominids, or the term hominids, it was originally the collective term for the family of humans only, including their extinct ancestors and relatives like the Neanderthal and the Australopithecus or Australopithecus. So in the study of evolution, these hominids, okay, they said to have split from the other apes, starting with the orangutans about 14 million years ago, followed by the gorilla about millions years ago, with the most recent split between chimpanzees and human around 5 million years ago. And as they are called the great apes, it means they are generally larger than other apes. But hominids, they are distinct from other apes not only for the size but also for their high intelligence, even when excluding human from this group. Many researchers have shown that orangutans, gorillas and chimpanzees, they are capable of using tools and recognizing the symbols, use sign languages and solve puzzles. Hominoids, they are any of the primates, all collectively known as apes. So here also the scientific term that is used for hominoid is hominidae, although you can see mostly quadrupedals moving on all four limbs, and with the exceptions of the human, as they are bipedals, okay, and their extinct relatives, and the gorillas, which are the biggest of the apes. Hominids are the skilled tree climbers and very agile once they are in the trees. Hominids have a lower center of gravity, a short spine relative to their body length, a broad pelvis and wide chest. So this general body build allow them a more upright postures than other primates and more balance when standing on 2 feet. So this locomotion is called brachiation. Hominids belongs to a family known as Hominidae. It means all form of human beings. As you can see here, the hominids which are having, if we talk about the characteristics, they are having, it include a large brain, upright postures, bipedal locomotions, specializations of hand. So students, a hominid is any human-like species who is bipedal, okay? Bipedal who walks on 2 legs and is intelligent because it has a large brain and it can use tools. Okay, as you can see in the images also, they are having the tools here in their hand. Okay, so the only living species of this hominid is the modern man, or we call it Homo sapiens. And here when we talk about the characteristics of this hominids, there are two important characteristics. One is the bipedalism or bipedal locomotion. Another important characteristics here are the large brain size. So the brain case or the skull, okay, as you can see here the images of different skull, okay, which evolved during a period of time. So you will see that the size of these skulls, okay, or the brain case has increased in size over time to allow for the enlargement of brain. So it has also changed shape also. So the skull now has more forehead and a rounded shape, okay, and you can see there is less separation between the brain and between the face. The face has gotten flatter, the nose is less of a snout, and humans have small teeth and jaw in comparison to the modern apes. So big brain allow for more learned behavior such as using the tools. So all hominids, they're able to walk upright. The human anatomy has had to adjust a variety of different ways to accommodate the walking upright. The foramen magnum, which attach the spinal cord to the brain, is at the bottom of the skull, okay, rather than at the back. So this allows hominid to see straight ahead. Even the femur, which is a thigh bone in hominids, is angled toward the knee, which stabilizes the body in relation to gravity. So bipedalism can make it hard to balance, and humans often fall, particularly when they are elderly. And the evolution in the hand of the human hand, you can see, unique for its lengthy opposable thumbs and the skillful fingers, okay, to rise of stone tools or tool related activities. So students, these hominids, they are further subdivided into branches known as genus, of which Australopithecus, and here you can see Homo. They are very important. Each of these in turn includes several species. The major differences between Australopithecus and Homo is related brain size, jaws and teeth. The former has a smaller brain size, heavier jaws and larger teeth than the latter. The first ape man, Australopithecus, they comes from a Latin word austral, meaning southern, and a Greek word pithecus, meaning ape. So the name was given because this earliest form of humans still retained many features of an ape. You can see such as relatively small brain, size in comparison to Homo, large back teeth and limited dexterity, or you can see physical activity of hand. Upright walking was also restricted as they still spent a lot of times in trees. So they retained characteristics here such as long forelimbs, okay, as you can see the arms, the curved hand and foot, bones, and here you can see mobile ankle joints suited to life on trees. So over time, as tool making and long distance walking increased, many human characteristics also developed. The discovery of Australopithecus Olduvai Gorge, 17 July 1959. So the Olduvai Gorge was first discovered in the early 20th century by a German butterfly collector, Mary Leakey and Louis Leakey, who worked here for over 40 years. And it was Mary Leakey who directed archaeological excavations at Olduvai and Laetoli, and she has made some of the most exciting discoveries. So this is about what Louis Leakey wrote about one of their most remarkable finds. So that morning, I woke up with headache and a slight fever. Reluctantly, I agreed to spend the day in a camp. So Mary, she departed for the digging. So sometime later, I heard Mary's voice calling over and over. I got him. I couldn't make her out. Got what? I asked him. I asked him, the man, our man. This one we have been looking for 23 years. I have found his teeth. So this was the first discovery of Australopithecus. So students, in this diagram, you can see we have lines of two colors. The red colors line, it indicates the input. Okay, here it indicates the input. And if we talk about the blue colored line, it indicates processes that were in turn strengthened by tool making. Okay, so first considering the red colored line, okay, we enlist here the inputs that facilitate the tool making processes. So if now you can see there is an increase in size and capacity of brain. So what the man will do now? Over time you can see the continuous evolution of human beings has witnessed the increase in brain size along with its increase in thinking capacity. So this directly led to the development of basic intelligence, okay, which in turn boosted the problem solving skills of the early man. So with better intelligence, he could design a new weapon or the tools for self-defense, killing animals and gathering food for his subsistence. And now you can see the upright walking. So once the early man, he started walking upright. So his front limbs or hand, it get free. So this help him to utilize those extra limb for making the tools. Then visual surveillances, with the development of the skills of the visual surveillance, or you can say it's simply observation or observation power. So the early man could now understand and keep a track of the events happening around him and accordingly could prepare himself by making proper tools and could withstand similar events. And here you will see hand free for using tools and carrying infants and objects. So as the early man started walking upright, his forelimbs, it got free. He started using his hand to carry his infant and objects such as tool, utensil. In addition, it also led him to use his tool with more pressure and with force. So now let us consider the blue line. So the processes, okay, these blue lines, these are the processes that were strengthened by tools making. So if we talk about, we have already discussed this, increase in size and capacity of brain. Okay, so the tool making process in turn enhanced the technical know-how of the early man. This also infused the power to think, okay, concentrate, understand and memorize. All this development further increased the capacity of the early man brains. So you can see upright walking. So it enabled the early man to use hand for making, carrying and using tool. So it further added to his potential and got him extra hand to do a lot more things than he did previously. And visual surveillances you can see with more analytical and observatory powers. The early man developed, enhanced the tools and weapons. So now he undertake the journey to exploit the unexplored tracks for food. So students, bipedalisms enable hand to be free for carrying infants or objects. In turns, as hand were used more and more, upright walking gradually became more efficient. Apart from the advantage of freeing hand for various uses, far less energy is consumed while walking as compared to the movements of the quadruped. However, you can see the advantages in terms of saving energy is reversed while running. This is indirect evidences of bipedalism as early as 3.6 million years ago. This comes from the fossilized hominid footprints at Latoli, Tanzania. So around 2.5 million years ago, with the onset of a phase of glaciation, okay, or an ice age, When large parts of the earth were covered with snow, there were major changes in climate and vegetation. So due to the reduction in temperature as well as rainfall, the grassland area it expanded at the expense of forest, leading to the gradual extinction of the early form of Australopithecus, and they were adapted to forest and the replacement by species that were better adapted to the drier conditions. So among these were the earliest representatives of the genus Homo. In general, compared with Australopithecus, Homo, they have a larger brain, jaws with a reduced outward, you can see, protrusions and smaller teeth. An increase in brain size is associated with more intelligence and a better memory. So the changes in the jaw and the teeth, they were probably related to differences in the dietary habits.